Welcome to the How to Find and Keep a Gay Man podcast. I'm Matt Bays, your host, with Matt Heinker, your co-host. And we're here to provide bitchy wisdom for the gay man looking for love. There are a lot of gay men out there looking for a meaningful love experience, and we are here to help. You can follow How to Find and Keep a Gay Man on Instagram and TikTok, where you'll find all sorts of bitchy wisdom about what it's going to take to find and keep a gay man. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Okay. We are here and it is happening.
It is happening. We're black and white today. We're very serious.
I had text me out of the blue and tell me he's been listening and he is looking forward to more bitchy wisdom.
Really?
Look at this cup.
Oh, I love it.
The all black one?
That's pretty sexy. I like that.
Yes, it's exotic.
I ran into good old and his boyfriend at the club last Friday. Those boys are in love.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. But they've been together like 3 years. They're doing good.
Good for them. And also, I just saw here's what's up in my neck of the woods, in case you're wondering.
Okay.
I just saw this article online about, the whole AI thing. That's like crazy AI chat, whatever. Yeah. Chris is obsessed with that. Loves it. Like, have you tried it?
I have not.
Well, apparently there's this new thing where it can look at your face and with 80% accuracy, tell you whether or not you are gay from your face construction. So what does that say about gay face? So apparently gay guys have longer noses and long other things and larger foreheads.
Larger foreheads, huh?
What about eyes? They didn't say anything about the eyes.
I feel like the eyes always give it away.
Gay women have bigger jaws. Which is very handy in certain situations.
I tell you what.
Bigger jaws and smaller foreheads.
Oh, goodness. You don't need all that forehead if you got a good jaw, honey. 80% is respectable. There's a lot of margin for error still there.
I wonder if the lesbians are out there looking for women, like seeing somebody with a big jaw.
I wouldn't be the one to tell you. Speaking of our favorite lesbians, Lindsay Picardo listens.
She does?
Mm-hmm. She reached out to me on Instagram the other day and was tickled pink.
She's tickled plaid.
She's tickled flannel plaid. I don't know if you have ever heard her podcast, the In the Woods thing. It's
yeah. They are really good about keeping up and putting all the stuff out. I love it. And I watch all of those on TikTok.
Oh, you do?
Oh, I get an alert when Lindsay posts something. I get an alert.
It's funny to do this watching I call me 100. I only listen to podcasts, but the kids are watching it now. That's why we have to look so pretty.
Oh, yeah. We've been getting some watches and we're building up and we're doing good. Tell me about your week.
Oh, goodness. Levi's 11th birthday was yesterday.
Yes.
We went with his mother and his stepfather and myself and all the kids to P.F. Chang's, his favorite.
I just think that is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's possible.
It is. And frankly, her and Ty chatted the whole time. She talks in way more stuff to me.
I just love it. It does not feel Midwest at all to be able to handle that level of liberation.
You know what? Change is going to come. But it's great because, we really are in a place now where we can do that and it's not awkward. So that was really cool. And Levi was really happy to have all his favorite people, all his parents. And yeah, that was nice.
And happy birthday to Levi. But we all know he is 11, but he is also 40.
He's probably reading an encyclopedia right now. He's an old soul. But I got to go to Florida for work next week and dragging Ty along. So me and Hubs will get a few days in the sun with no children. Nice. So that'll be nice. We're going to enjoy that. Yeah. What about you, my love?
Oh, I have just been busy with how to find and keep a gay man. We are getting some new followers. I started from ground up. We're over 100 now on Instagram. But recently I had some guy follow who, it just happened this morning, sent me a message. Hey. When I saw the hey in my DMs, I was like, oh, he has not looked at this platform yet. He does not know what this is about.
No, because we're going to talk about that today, actually.
Oh, I'm going to hit him back with some material. But I said, yes, ... And then came back later and saw, what's up? To which I responded, not much.
Not.
So I don't know if I got another message in there or not. But this does lead into our material.
It really does. Yes.
This is pro tips for profiles on the dating apps.
The apps 101, 201, 301. Here we go.
401. I mean, we're going to do all the 01s because there's so much to talk about how you really present yourself. Oh my God.
You know, I love a stat to help us understand where we are with all of this. So 5 million Americans, LGBTQ plus Americans, are on the apps, and 29% of gay couples are with their current partner because they met on an app versus only 9% of straight couples. So 1 in 4 of us today have found our partner on an app. You're an example of that.
That's amazing.
Yes, 1 in 4. But it said 78% of users reported that they were unhappy with the app.
Oh, I was just going to say there's only 17 people that are actually happy with those apps.
Yeah, almost 80% are unhappy with them. And 1 in 4 reported that they've had first dates only off of them, which I think is kind of funny. So that speaks to dating etiquette, which is another episode. But the apps are not working well for us. Why?
Why aren't they working well for us?
Let's get into it.
We're definitely going to get into it. I was just checking a stat that I had that 80% of the people on the apps, this is just everyone, not just gay, are looking for a long-term relationship.
Oh, okay.
Now, I thought that was interesting because
that surprises
the way we behave on there is not cohesive with that thought at all.
That is a very good point. Yes.
Which is what we're going to get into.
We'll act like animals, even though deep down we really do want a relationship from them. So that's interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or we're trying to be cute.
Oh,
There's all kinds of stuff about people who are trying to be cute on there and creative. And like, this is not time to experiment with this.
Exactly. And I also think it really, the app you choose determines some of the experience. We talked about this a little bit last week. Your soulmate's probably not on Grindr. That's for gay men, that's by far the most popular one. But Grindr, Scruff, Jacked, there are apps that we know are primarily for hookups most of the time.
Yeah, Grindr's McDonald's.
Yeah, Grindr's McDonald's.
That's what Grindr is. I mean, it's real easy. It's fast food.
Yes.
All I got to do is pull in this driveway, order, and somebody's going to give me something that I'm going to eat, and it's going to satiate me for now, but not for long.
Oh, yes.
Right?
It's French fries, not filet mignon, honey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I was on Grindr for 15 minutes and that was enough for me. And I was thinking about this week. I'm just going to be real honest about you and I are very different people. You're pragmatic, and I'm emotional and, but we have this friendship and there's a balance that's great. But when I got on the apps and was searching for this thing, all of a sudden I became super pragmatic. Like, this is what I want, and this is what I won't stand for. I didn't jump out in that gay community and get glitter all over myself.
You were running like a business plan.
This was a part-time job.
It was
what I was doing.
Absolutely. Yep.
So when I saw Grindr, what it was, I felt too old for it. I had grown kids. I'm not in for these little games. I want something real. I want something long-term. I've waited too long for something. I'm not going to just fool around. If people want to do that, and I kind of get it because I've met a whole lot of guys that have come out later in life that they just want to get out there and fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did, but I didn't want empty.
And again, we're not shaming people that want to do that. That's not the point of this conversation. It's just to say that, frankly, especially if you're someone who came out later, I feel like almost all of us have I call it, we're on walkabout. You have a wild oats time. You have a walkabout time. You have a period where you kind of do your thing and you explore. So I think that's part of most people's experience. If they come out later, that's okay. When you're done with that, though, maybe Grindr's off your phone.
And this is where we are.
Yeah.
We are for the person that is like, yes, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you realize that you can't just say that.
Yeah.
There actually has to be some action and behavior to support the idea of I'm done with that and I want something else. I want something more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're taking it in little bite-sized chunks. We're just kind of, here are some things that we can do along the way. Take what works and leave the rest behind.
Absolutely. And then change your apps to Bumble, Hinge, relationship-oriented apps. Mayor Pete Buttigieg famously met his husband on Hinge.
I couldn't do Hinge, though. I was in Indy doing Hinge, and there were 13 boys on there.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, you're going to have a smaller group of boys to holler at if you are looking for something real. And that's a reality that also has to be acknowledged, as you're moving into that, especially if you live in Indianapolis or Des Moines or Cincinnati, But I agree with you. There's not as many. The article I read said the most fast growing one right now is the one called Chappie. And there are no unsolicited nudes allowed on the site. You can only speak to people that you've matched with, message with people you've matched with. And they even have a friend mode if you're just looking to build community. So I think it's nice that there are apps that are starting to think about how do we craft an experience that's more oriented towards getting into an actual relationship. Yeah, they are out there,
And cool. Listen, I'm not about I'll sit with you all day long in your sadness and your heartbreak. I'm your guy. Yeah. I get it and I'm here for it, but I also live with a mantra of if it's to be, it's up to me. Mm-hmm. If you want something, it is up to you to make it happen. And you said a couple weeks ago, if that's what you want, meaning a relationship, you can find it. If that's what you're looking for, don't tell me something's impossible. It's not impossible. Yeah. We've seen it. I've seen too many. I told you about the trailer couple last week with the double wide. Yes. In love and in that
happy as clams.
Happy as clams. It's available to us if we really pursue it. Yeah. Like I said, it's a part-time job. And I swear to God, it is a freaking part-time job.
It is. Yeah. But the effort that you put into it really determines your experience. I totally agree. You said it's a part-time job. I mean, I definitely thought of it like that as well. Yeah. But in putting your effort into it, you're choosing the right apps, but then your actual profile. So how people experience you on these apps. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, let's do. But let me just say this because I want to give people an out too, because what I do understand is that the apps are tiring. Sure. Our self-esteem can go in the crapper through that. I've had recently a conversation with a friend who said, my God, I feel like I just got on the apps for the first time. He's recently divorced. And he's like, my self-esteem feels so low from people who won't even message me back. And I'm like, okay. So I get all of that. And I'm just saying, do what you need to do. So people that get off the apps forever, I'm not a big proponent of that. I think give yourself a weekend off, give yourself a month off. Yeah. If that's what you need, but it really is an opportunity for you and you have to use it that way. So do what you need to do, but maybe don't get off of them forever if you're actually looking for a long-term relationship.
I totally agree. But I think that's a really good point though. And I definitely experienced that. I think the hardest part of the apps is your self-esteem. If you're not in a really good place, your self-esteem can take a hit and you really have to find a way for that not to get at you. I mean, you have to be confident in who you are. Yeah. There's a lid for every pot, and you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Just know that and try to be gentle with yourself,
I'm in a gay choir here in Cincinnati. And one guy was telling me he's like 26 and he was like, oh, I've had guys call me fat. I mean, they just straight up will call you fat.
Oh, yeah. I had a boy tell me on a date one time, we were making out and I took my shirt off and he goes, oh, I can tell you had a really incredible body in your 20s. Oh, Lord. I clutched the pearls and just tried to keep it together. But
I can tell you had.
Oh, I see the ruins. Even the ruins are beautiful. And I'm over here like what? In the gym every day of my life trying to keep it together.
You were hitting CrossFit twice a day then.
Probably before I snatched Thai, Lord, I was doing my work. So anyway, but that's just a small example. Like you're going to get feedback that doesn't feel good from time to time. Yeah. And we have a lot of work to do as a community to be nice to each other. We've talked about that before, but
I'm going to take that moment and now I'm letting it go.
I'm letting it go. I am lovely.
Fly away.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I did have a guy tell me one time that I don't like skinny boys. Oof. And I said, I don't like you. So yeah, we both have something in common.
Yeah. Like water off a duck's back.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So you got to get thick skin. Keep moving.
So we're going to get into these pro tips.
Let's have fun with this one.
Okay. Well, here's what I want to get into, because as we're starting this out, I will never forget this story. I remember you were basically trying to identify with me and saying, oh, here's the shit that I've dealt with. And one of the things you said was that you sat across from a beautiful man. I think he was bearded.
He was gorgeous. Yeah.
The likes of Aquaman. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And he said, is your butt hungry?
Yeah. He did, in fact, say that about 17 minutes into the date.
Is your butt hungry?
Is your butt hungry? Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out a way to make that, just try to make it sound better, because it's so awful.
You know,
anybody would say that.
The good news is this gorgeous man was telling me that he wanted to sleep with me. So I tried to take it as a compliment, but it was a bit jarring.
Even in Spanish, tu trasero tiene hambre. It's still awful.
It's still awful. That's not how you lead the conversation. And that boy showed his hand pretty quickly. He was not looking for love. He was looking for a good time, as many of them are.
But even if you're looking for, I mean, I can't. Anybody who says words like that, I can't even take you seriously.
I don't even remember how I responded. I really don't. It was quite a moment.
I'll tell you how you responded. Yes.
Jason Momoa did not get any cake that night or any other. I will tell you that. He disqualified himself in many ways.
The cake shop was closed.
The cake
you don't
shop
remember
was
how
closed.
but was it immediately were you like, and I know that this is just dinner because of that comment? Like, what did that comment do to you?
It just deflated me. He came in and he was so beautiful. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be good. And then he just started talking and I was like, oh God. And then after that, it was all about like, oh, I can't eat any of this stuff. Like, I've counted my macros. I mean, it was just all like, this is what I do to keep myself looking like this. What do you do? Let's have sex. I mean, there was just like zero substance or didn't really want to get to know me.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've all had those dates.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, mine consisted more of, you look like you're old enough to buy me things.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Which is why I shouldn't have been dating boys that young.
For real. That's why I had to know an under 29 rule very quickly, because one of the first boys I went out with that was 26 got in the car and goes, is daddy going to take me to a nice dinner? Oh,
yeah. Unfortunately, it's part of the culture, but it's just not a part that, I mean, listen, among friends, that all stuff is it's just fun. It can be so much fun.
Totally.
But when you're looking for something real, you know it. This is nothing.
For real.
This is a dead end. So some pro tips on how people put themselves out there on the apps, because I've seen it all.
For real. Probably some of the hardest times I've laughed in my entire life is back in the day when we were looking at the boys in your Tinder feed. Like it was shocking. So let's start with pictures, shall we?
Yes.
It is mind-blowing to me how, are we going to say 75% of them are scary or more than that?
I would say 60% are just scary. And then there's another 20% that are just, no, it's hard to find pictures that are just like, we just need a regular picture. We don't need, like, my friend, she's gay, and she sent me of a picture girl riding a horse with a tomahawk, like doing a battle cry. And she's like, what the hell am I supposed to do? This person's coming to kill me. Like, that's what you're serving.
Yeah. Your picture is supposed to give people an idea of who you are, your personal style, your vibe, whatever. But if the picture is of your face this close and you have a blank stare or your mouth open or your hair not done, we talk about effort. You got to put effort in your profile pic. Good lighting, good angle, have more than one.
It's not that
hard. Not in the bathroom. We don't need a selfie of you just out of the shower,
with a towel wrapped around you.
That doesn't tell us anything about you other than you're a little vain, which we all are.
But you can have your thirst trap picture, but it should be buried, right? If you got 6 pictures, put it number 6.
Exactly.
Just don't lead with that.
Exactly. I think that you should only have one picture in the mix with your shirt off, no more. And it needs to be last. Don't lead with that. Yeah. Because if, a lot of the boys that every single one of their pictures, they don't have clothes on, you already know what you're getting into,
Did you have a shirtless picture?
I did.
Titties everywhere.
I did. Well, I had to give them a little taste. But it was picture number 7.
It was.
Okay. Yeah.
Matt, I could not put a picture on for the longest time without my shirt on. I was like, And I work hard. I worked
I
hard in the
know.
gym. Yeah.
I was like,
And
you got to get over that.
I was just like, I can't do it. I had my roots in the church and I was like, I'm going to disappoint Jesus. So I finally decided I'm going to do it. And what made me feel horrible was I finally put it on there on Scruff. It cropped out my shorts.
Oh.
And so in 24 hours, Scruff sent a notice and said, we took down your nude picture.
Oh my.
Which like just fucked me up in the head because I was like, oh my God, like I went overboard. But you know what? I just said my prayers and I put that picture back on there.
You know what? And your traffic improved, I'm sure.
Hey, Chris still talks about that picture.
Oh, of course he does. We're not prudes. Come on, have a little thirst trap picture on there. Just don't lead with it. And the other thing attached to that is the whole private album thing. Again, if somebody asks for your private album or asks if you have one, most of the time those boys are not looking for a relationship.
No.
For whatever reason. So just keep that in mind. Your pictures are telling the story if you are. Put effort into them.
I mean, if you're looking for something long-term and serious and committed, there are identifiers. And I think private albums are that. I'd had people send them to me. The first, I didn't even know what they were.
Yeah.
You know? And
I remember when you got your
like,
first one, you got your first one and called me and you were like, what's this?
Oh, and this guy, it was a beautiful man. He was with his partner in the shower and they were diddling each other. And I was like, this is not something I'd be interested in long term and forever.
Exactly.
Because my guess is this is just going to show up all over the relationship. I'm not interested.
They were looking for a party.
Yes.
And the last thing I'll say about pictures is no more than 3 years old. I went out with a gentleman who had pictures, 3 of them in his profile. And in his profile, it said he was 37. We went on the date. He came through the door. He was 48, 11 years older. Didn't look like his pictures at all, which is fine, but he wasn't honest about that. So he sits down and I literally didn't even recognize him. And he was like, hey, nice to meet you, da, da, da. And then we get sort of toward the end of the date. And I was like, so, hey, you're 37. He's like, no, I'm 48. Those are really old pictures.
So he had changed the date. He had to.
He did. And so I was like kind of put off by that. I said, well, I mean, you really didn't present yourself honestly. And he's like, listen, if you've got a problem with my age, like that's your issue, you know.
No, you've got a problem.
And I was
with
like, time out. You misrepresented yourself. But I think in general, you want your pictures to look good, but they got to be current. Be proud of who you are today.
Yeah.
And present that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I was looking up online some of the like worst profile pictures or whatever. And there was a guy in a bathtub full of Cheetos holding a Cheeto out to the camera. This was a like heterosexual guy. And the lady commenting was like, listen, we love a good snack food, but you know,
I think that's kind of funny personally, but
this is not going to yield the results I think that you're after.
No, probably not.
I got to share with you, Matt. I found this site. Hold on. So this guy wrote on his app, I'm a 38-year-old hairdresser from Pakistan and a compulsive liar. That's what he's leading with.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. This is about like what you don't do for profiles. Here's another one from a convicted sex offender.
Okay.
They give him kudos because they said at least he was honest. He told him he had a record and he was a thrice convicted sex offender.
Thrice convicted.
But then he says this in his profile. I have turned a corner. So if you're cool with that, hit me up. Not like I hit them up though. LOL.
God, what is wrong with all of us?
I don't know. There's another one of this old guy wrapped up in like a beach towel. It is the worst. It's his profile picture. And they have the prompt. I spend a lot of time thinking about ... And he wrote, will I be single all my life? He was like, yes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Probably. Outlook not good. Here's one more. This is from a guy he's been friend zoned and he doesn't like that. The most private thing I'm willing to admit is the prompt. And he says, I'm so sick of being friend zoned. Ladies, if you're looking for a real man who will value you for your heart and not your body, your knight in shining armor awaits. And she said, now that's a little cliche, but not bad. And then the very next phrase is, no fatties, please. Sounds like a knight in shining armor.
What a
doesn't it?
gentleman.
Right.
Well, and other red flags that we specifically need to look out for. If the man's profile says discreet,
Oh,
run
yeah,
away.
yeah. Yeah,
Not too
that's
discreet.
good. That's a good
Okay.
point. Well, and you know what, Matt, I think a lot of people who see stuff like that, we're about being open-minded.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times you see those. I remember falling into this trap and thinking, well, this is just where they are kind of thing. And that can be true. You're much more pragmatic when it comes to that, where you're like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be discreet and they can do all that. But if this is what I'm looking for, a person who's putting discreet on their profile is not in this healthy long-term.
Exactly. And like I said about being sex positive, we're not shaming people that are doing the hookup life. That's your decision. If you really are in a place where you need to say you value being discreet because you're not really, you're not further down your journey, that's okay too. But to your point, if we're looking for quality relationship, this person has internalized homophobia that they've not dealt with yet. They're not yet proud of who they are. They've not done the work. They've got little to give. So it's going to be a frustration for you when you try to make that something that he's not ready to be. So just look for that. Anything discreet or mask only, people that are saying they only want partners that present very masculine. To be honest, the first time I saw that, I didn't even know what it meant. And I remember I went out with a guy that had that pretty prominently on his profile. He wasn't nice. I think that's a telltale sign that you're not going to be a super nice person.
There was an article that I read that said, keep your nose list to yourself.
Yes.
I don't like blondes. I don't like feminine or whatever. Like, avoid negativity.
Yes. So profiles that tell you everything you have to be to meet their requirements, or profiles that list everything that they don't want. Like, you don't floss, you don't work out, you don't have a college degree. Those people are not in good space generally.
And there's a way to talk about the things that you want in your interests. But I just thought it was interesting when it said, keep the nose list to yourself. I really liked that, because I've seen a lot of people go negative and even just sort of bitching about like how people are today, blah, blah, blah. It's like rant in a Facebook post. Nobody wants to read that. They don't even know you and they don't care. And it just, you know what I mean?
We attract what we are. We become what we think about. I want to manifest a gentleman who's positive, kind, generous. That energy needs to come through your profile.
Yeah. So here's some things that I saw in a list. I'm just going to get real like practical on what some of these things are. What to avoid. I already mentioned the one of negativity. Another thing to avoid is corny pickup lines.
Yeah.
One of the things that said, Matt, that I thought was really good is it said, be careful of boxing people in. And by that, it meant like for me, like, I don't think I would have seen myself necessarily with the business guy, but here we are. So it's like, keep your options open. You might be interested in things that you didn't think that you were interested in.
Yeah.
So
I would say on paper, Ty, I would never have thought Ty would be such a good match for me on paper. I mean, I was attracted to him, but his profile, everything about him would not have been on my radar initially. So I think that's really good advice. You never know what your chemistry is going to be like with the right person.
Yeah. And also, which I thought was really great, is short bios, like looking for fun.
Yeah. Fill out your entire bio.
And we need to know something about you.
Yeah.
Not just that you're looking for fun.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If somebody fills out their bio, that's another like pretty good sign that they actually are looking for a relationship. They're taking this process seriously and they want to connect. I think that also transfers over into how you communicate. So like you were saying, you got, hey, what's up? When they're trying to speak to you. I got a few people message me and all they said was hot. Okay. Reference something that you saw in their profile.
It's real easy to be like, hey, looks like you were at the beach with your friends. You know what I mean? It's really not that hard to make a connection and to use even some of the pictures for questions, or tell me about your dog. He's so cute, rather than hot. I'm not kidding. I would just, it would just be an immediate, instantaneous, I don't care what they look like. For me, it was an instant like sideline. Them,
to the left, to the left.
But what I noticed on a lot of the sites was they were talking about making your bio fun and easy to read. Yeah. I was just thinking, we don't always know exactly what a great bio is, but we know it when we see it.
Yeah.
And so I would say, get help putting that shit together. Have a friend that can look at this stuff with you and kind of give you pointers. Like, you don't have to do this in a vacuum. Do this with a friend who can help you sort of think about that. And then also, while you're on the apps, have a ride or die. You were my ride or die of
for sure.
going through the nightmare of app culture and keeping it light and having fun with it.
Yeah, I think you have to try to have fun with it, because it isn't always easy. And I totally agree with a friend helping you. I have a very good friend who looked at my first profile and he was like, oh gosh, we need to change this, this, and this. And it really improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just recently did that for a friend. There were pictures that was like in front of the closet. There's dirty clothes on the floor. It's like,
Come on.
and having pictures with friends, you're out with friends, you're all taking a selfie, something that it's not just 7 pictures of you all by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Giving a snapshot of who you are, what your life looks like, help them get a good picture of who they're dealing with here. I love that. But again, that goes back to the effort. That all takes work. You got to actually put your back into putting together a meaningful profile.
Yeah. Yeah. The 3 main things to having a profile: what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for a casual hookup or you're actually looking for a long-term relationship, like it's great to just say that. And that's where I said that 80% of the people actually are looking for a long-term relationship. Yeah. But what they've discovered is that feels vulnerable for people to admit that. Yeah. But you just have to get the bravery to just be honest about it and say it, because 80% of the people are, but not 80% of the people would represent that because it feels vulnerable. And we don't like being vulnerable.
Yeah.
The other thing it says is interest. Make sure you're representing, like we said, pictures of things that you like doing, hanging with friends, talk about how you spend your time, and then also what you want in a potential match.
Not what you don't want.
Right.
What you do want.
Right. Yeah. Well, and not be like, I want a blonde person with big, I'm going to stop right there. But like, what do I want? I told you my first thing mine said was, I want a peaceful man. And Chris said, I immediately knew something about you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As opposed to into otters, bears, and daddies.
Yes. Oh, that was another thing that, I got used to it all because you forced me to. With all of this stuff that we're saying, you still did have an attitude that was like, get the fuck over it. Get over yourself. This is part of what it is. Yeah. So get over yourself. You're going to be alone.
Yeah.
And just subscribe to this. You'll get used to it. And I didn't really want to get used to it, but I really listened. And I'm so glad that I did, because it's where I met my husband. But I remember all that otters. And God, I had to get on the internets and figure out what any of that shit meant. I didn't even know.
Yeah. I had no idea that I was a daddy, but I'm a daddy. And I had to get peaceful with that.
Yeah. I really don't like daddy because I'm not your daddy. I know what it means.
There's a lot of people that feel that way, but it's part of it,
Yeah, it's part of it. But it does tell you something when somebody's not using all that language. Like, we're sitting with friends, we're talking about, ooh, look at that daddy or whatever. But if you're representing yourself in public, be careful how you talk, because it makes it feel like it's all about you.
Yeah, or it objectifies people and categorizes them in ways that might just not be really good. Like you said, I think it's fun to talk like that with your friends. But that's my point. People that are that prescriptive on their side of what they're looking for. I literally talked to a guy one time and he was like, did you see the into? He goes, I didn't put daddies on there.
What was he trying to communicate?
That I was not in his category of interest.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. You're obviously solidly a daddy. That's not on my list. Only twinks, pinks, thugs, bears, whatever. And I was like, well, okay.
If you could have seen this body in my 20s.
Oh, man. You'd be able to tell that 20 years ago, I was a dime piece, bitch.
I can't believe somebody said that to you. I bet you used to be attractive. It's like, shit.
You gotta be in a very solid place mentally.
I'll tell you what else I had to get used to is, remember on Scruff, they had the woof button. First time I got one, I was like, I don't even know what this means. Somebody woofed at me. One of them I was really attracted to. And I was like, I hovered over that woof button for 3 days. Like, I am not going to bark at a man. To me, it's like somebody walking down the street and being like, woo, you know what I mean?
It kind of is. Cat. Yeah,
it is. But I finally woofed him back and I was like, who am I even? I don't even know who I am anymore.
You were such a tentative, nice lady as you traversed the apps. It was pretty funny.
I was.
I'm over here like, woof, 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 woof. 14 dates next week. Let's get into this. Let's figure it out.
This is what I love about this friendship, though, because I was telling Chris, Matt just jumped in the pool of glitter and got it all over himself. He was like, I'm coming out, and here's me. Yes, and not me. I was like, who's out there?
Oh, man. I pulled you out.
I know. It was helpful.
I was out in these streets doing my work, and it worked out.
Yeah.
But I did not meet my man on a nap.
I knew your man before you did. I already knew he was a sweetheart.
Life is funny, isn't it? Yeah.
And good.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that we want for people. Just to close this moment and thinking about it, Matt, and then you can give your Springer final thought. Just behave out there. Treat a man like a lady,
Treat her like a lady.
Be professional and show interest in a way that is interesting. And what's not interesting is your butt hungry? That's funny. And we're talking about it because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be on a date with that person ever. And if you're out there listening and you're like, oh, I do, you've told us all we need to know. You're not ready, darling.
You're not ready, darling. You have more work to do. Yes.
Yes. Think about seeing this person in real life, that you're meeting them for coffee. How are you going to approach them? It's going to be differently than, hey, walking up to somebody in Kroger and being like, hot. I'd be like, thank you. I don't want to date. I'm going to put it in my back pocket. Made me feel good about myself, but I don't want to start a family together.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. I would piggyback on that by saying, just be nice. We talk about how much work our community has to do in just being nice to each other and lifting each other up. Like, let's be gentle. Let's be kind to each other. As we're doing this, let's respect each other.
Yeah.
We've all been through a lot. Maybe somebody's not your cup of tea, but be nice. Yeah. And as you get into the experience, put your back into it, make it a meaningful profile. It's a job. Don't give up. Get after it.
Yep. When you talk about respect and being nice, that kind of being nice to people, seeing a person across the screen as an actual human being that you do engage and you do decide to engage with, treat them right. Be respectful. And
absolutely.
If you don't know how to, get a damn therapist and figure out why the hell you're an asshole.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
If you're one of these that's getting one of the 24%, the 1 in 4 that only has ever had first dates only up on these apps, look at yourself in the mirror. There's something going on.
I dated a guy. This is right before I met Chris. Super sweet. Just a really sweet guy. You actually met him.
And he was a nurse.
No, he was a doctor.
Oh, he was a doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was something.
He was a pediatrician.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And he was a very, very nice human being. And I remember meeting Chris because I was dating around. So I wasn't keeping it just with one person. Super nice guy, lovely person, had a great time with him. I really did. And when Chris and I met, I just sort of had that little bit of that mystical, something's here, something's brewing with Chris. And this other guy, mentioned, hey, do you want to get together this weekend? And it was like, I had to stop and think because I was already really having fun with him. We'd hung out quite a bit, but I just wanted to press pause on that because I thought there might be something that this other thing had legs with Chris.
For sure.
And so I wanted to wait. And I didn't feel that with him. We were just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said, hey, I've met someone and I want to wait and see if this has legs. He responded and said, absolutely, I understand. I've had such a great time with you. You deserve the best.
Oh, that's how you do it. Class act. Yeah.
How nice. Not block or not like, fuck you or,
Yeah.
And then it was probably a couple months later, he texted me. I had gotten him a plant and he said, just want to let you know, it was a joke. We'd named the plant and he said, the plant is dead. It was a funny, lighthearted thing to let you know the plant is dead. I'm calling to inform you someone has died. It was cute.
It was just a nice way for him to say hi.
And he said, how are things? And I said, great. I said, actually, I'm engaged with that guy I'd mentioned before. And he was like, wow. Matt, I'm so happy for you. Reiterated, you really do deserve the best. And I thought, you know what? this guy deserves the best. He deserves, that's the kind of guy that you want to look for on the app. Somebody that can hold their own. He's not pressed that look at this guy wasn't looking to get married. And I was, and I just think I've had a few people like that I went out with on the apps that were that caliber of person, that when I think back on how to behave on the apps, that's what you're looking for. People that act that way.
Absolutely. Let's lift each other up.
I know people are now going to be in my DMs like, what was his name?
A nice doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
I know exactly. Yeah.
Hook a brother up. Oh man. I hope the children got some good nuggets off this. I want to say I'm so thankful that we're off those apps. Aren't you?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. If I hadn't found Chris, my ass would still be on the apps.
Absolutely.
I would. And I did take a break when I couldn't take it anymore, but then I'd get back on them because there are some fine people on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And according to statistics, 80% of them are looking for committed long-term relationships.
Yeah.
If you want it, it's available to you.
Go get it.
Yeah. That's our bitchy wisdom for the day. I'm just going to say as we're leaving today, 30 minutes before we started recording this, I got a text message from the not.com.
Oh, the reminders got up today?
Yes, about the wedding. Was I going to have the chicken piccata?
Oh, the beef Wellington, honey. Yes, it's a very high-end event.
Yes, I am having the chicken piccata with Chardonnay reduction.
Excellent choice, darling. It will be delicious.
I'm super excited about this. How wonderful.
We're excited too. I want it to get here. It's stressing me out. It's a lot of stuff, but it's going to be really great. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. What's stressing you out? The wedding?
Oh yeah. We're doing a full-blown thing. It was really important to Ty and I that we do like a legit wedding. We weren't just going to elope and go off somewhere or go to the courthouse. We thought it was really meaningful for he and I to have a real wedding for our children. We've got a lot of family members that have really struggled with us coming out still years later. Mm-hmm. We thought it would be meaningful for them to see everything and also to celebrate with all of our gay friends now. It's a completely different life. So we're doing like a full-blown wedding. We've got flowers, the DJ, we've got singers, the drag queens performing, we're having food. It's a whole thing. Wonderful. So it's gonna be great. We're walking down the aisle to I Believe in You and Me. Okay.
And you've got a legit singer.
We've got a sanger who's going to do it.
It's going to be hard for me not to sing harmonies.
If you must.
I will hold myself back. I'm not going to be a judgy bitch if he doesn't sing it the way I think she should.
Well, I'm not going to care because I'm going to be standing there glittering in my white Tom Ford with my Gucci loafers on.
You have Gucci loafers. Because of course you do.
Because of course you do. Because this is going to be inspirational for the children, okay?
Yes. And your girls.
They are wearing long white gowns like little brides. They're going to be glittery. It's going to be a lot. And they're just ready for, where do I look? What camera this time? It's going to be something.
So we're going to say bye for now and good luck. And if you have questions, please hit me up in the DMs of how to find and keep a gay man on Instagram. And also, if you're thinking, I actually really need some help here and I'm ready to make an investment of time into that, check out the website, howtofindandkeepagayman.com. I'm a professional life coach. It's what I do. And I've got availability for you. Find me there and send me a message. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it for us today. For more bitchy wisdom, follow How to Find and Keep a Gay Man on Instagram and TikTok at, you guessed it, How to Find and Keep a Gay Man. And until we meet again, get a therapist, don't be an asshole, protect yourself, call your mom, and remember that you deserve a meaningful love. Bye.